Oh dear, look at how the waves are breaking across the bow. It just reminds me so much of our last cruise across the Atlantic.
This is such a lovely way to spend time. I'm so disappointed this most charming cruise will end so soon. I think we should stay afloat for another week. Let's toast. Here's to staying afloat.
White Star has outdone itself in Titanic. Such opulence. We are drowning in this luxurious finery. This surely is 20th century modernity emerging before our very eyes.
You know, it's a new world out there.
Even the help and fare is beyond compare.
Although, I would prefer a bit more ice. You know, for my gin and tonic.
You can always find something to complain about. To more ice!
Ah, what a beautiful evening. No moon, starlit night. Did I see you dancing ragtime on A deck?
Of course. What else would I be? I was part of the hoity-toity. There were so many interesting people out there.
Speaking of which, did you see Astor and his two, acquaintances? How interesting.
A toast
To interesting people.
Did you hear that?
What was that?
Listen. Have the engines stopped?
It's very quiet.
Astor would know.
Where are they?
Where are the Astors?
Have you seen the Astors?
The Astors!
The Astors! Have you seen the Astors?
Of course you haven't seen them. Want to know why? It's because the Astors are just beginning. It's showtime! Presenting the entire cast and crew of Grandstreet Theatre's production of Titanic.
We've been waiting.
It's about time!
Let's get on with it.
With special guest appearances by Sabrina Harding,
It's a new world out there.
Ada Miller,
Jay-Z, give me your answer due.
Chris Perot, Jean Egan. With special thanks to Esther Eller, Marianne Megan, and Brian Lamour. And making special cameo appearances, Wilbur Raymond, Laura Braco. By special request, the Lieutenant Governor of Montana, the Honorable Angela McClain. Featuring members of the cast of Titanic.
Taking a video.
Yeah, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Morgan Esper. Kate J.
Like this. And then like this.
Kenyon Vaughn.
I will be a billionaire. Never forget it.
Mitch Wheeler.
Amazingness.
Jean Megan. Stephanie Zarling. It's been a long time in the making, and now it's showtime for the Astors. And here is your host, casting John Jacob Astor in Titanic, Michael Gottleib.
Thank you. Welcome to the Astors. Welcome to the Astors, a most interesting evening. It's been a long time coming, so let's get on with it. We're here this evening to celebrate Grandstreet Theatre's production of Titanic, performed in April 2012 on the 100th anniversary of the sinking of the great ship. The stage production lasted over 4 weeks, with a cast of over 50, a support crew of over 30, a live orchestra, an out-of-state choral director leading 5-part harmony, and we sank a ship on stage. The Broadway production of Titanic won 5 Tonys, including Best Musical. The Grandstreet Theatre production won the hearts and minds of audiences for over 14 performances. We're here to celebrate not only the making of Titanic, but also the performing arts. We'll take you backstage to look at some of the antics of the cast and crew, and into the hearts and minds of those who were instrumental in making up Titanic. A great deal of intellectual discourse lay at the foundation of Titanic, to include complex lyrics.
Many mumbling minds are making it in the moonlight, mighty night.
Touching and enduring relationships.
Come dawn or danger, we'll meet tomorrow and have each other
And adult themes.
I thought, the boat goes down. Everybody knows. It sinks at the end. A lot of people die, and then that's it.
Tonight we celebrate not only the making of Titanic, but also of those in the performing arts. It takes a proverbial village to raise the curtain, where the divide between stage and audience becomes transparent, and all become one immersed in a compelling story. The contribution of the performing artist to communities enriches our lives. Too often that contribution is underappreciated. Tonight we commemorate and acknowledge the performing artists, the risks they take, and their passion to perform. But let's get on with the Astors, a most interesting evening. The first Astor to be presented tonight will be made by a very special guest and an individual who is no stranger to performance. Allow me to introduce to you someone who has a job that has a serious part, but also has its comic moments. One only needs to open a newspaper any day the legislature's in session. Allow me to introduce to you, and please welcome, someone who is a strong and visual supporter of the performing arts, and whose smile and convivial personality makes her a star in her own right, Montana's Lieutenant Governor, Angela McClain. Angela, it is a great pleasure to welcome you to the Astors, a most interesting evening. Indeed, your presence makes it so.
Well, thank you. It is a pleasure to be here at the Astors to acknowledge the incomparable contribution of the performing arts to our state.
We are here to celebrate the performing arts, and in particular Grandstreet Theatre. Grandstreet has served as a beacon for inspirational live theater. And Angela, did you know they're celebrating their 40th birthday this year?
This is so wonderful. We are proud to have such a vibrant community here in Helena. The shows, the actors and actresses, and the many support volunteers are to be congratulated for this hallmark achievement in theater.
Well, Angela, I understand you are no stranger to the stage.
That's right, Mike. In fact, I tried out for and got the part of the lead majorette in Funky Winkerbean's Homecoming, my junior year in high school in Twin Bridges. And I tried out for a play, wasn't sure I'd get a part, but it was something new. So I would encourage folks who are watching tonight to give new things a shot. Who knows, they may become LG of a state at some point in the future.
Angela, we have a very special award. Would you please present the first Astor this evening?
I would be glad to. The stage is unique and distinctive. It offers opportunities for artists to perform and audiences to enjoy. As Lieutenant Governor of Montana, it is my pleasure to recognize Grandstreet Theatre as a shining star for bringing great shows and great talent to Helena. To Grandstreet Theatre, the Astor for most interesting performances.
Wonderful. Thank you, Angela.
I like the best is 40 tons of potatoes, 1,100 pounds of marmalade, and 37,000 bottles of beer, wine, and spirit Titanic.
I guess my favorite is, and my husband.
Picasso said, "Art is a lie that reveals the truth." He was speaking of the illusion that appears before us in paint, words, moving pictures, stage performance. We enter the artist's world, and in that transformation, truths of our fleeting human condition emerge. For the stage, it takes a great script, great direction, tightly knit cast. All are essential. Yet underlying these instrumental and human themes is a compelling drama. In Titanic, 3 themes overlapped in a tale where the ending is no surprise. Yet the story still grips our attention.
So there's a lot of just passion and integrity that goes into the parts we're playing. And I think that part of it too is everybody knows the story. So everybody's invested in it. Everybody knows what's going to happen, but they still cheer and kind of hope that the people will survive it.
Well, I think tonight the ending might be a little different. Maybe the ship won't go down. What do you think?
A most obvious theme in Titanic is mankind's hubris and Faustian bargain with technology. The transition from 19th century to 20th century witnesses breakthroughs in communication, art, and global discovery. We think of our current time as frenetic. Imagine the horseless carriage, moving pictures, and Titanic, the largest moving object in the world. It was 46,000 tons, 882 feet in length, could carry 2,400 passengers, the first class in opulence and extravagant luxury. Bigger, better, faster. These adjectives are symbolic of the human condition. From this hubris, tragedy surfaces. Or, in the case of Titanic, may leave one with a sinking feeling. A second theme was the American dream held in the minds of immigrants from the old world. There's a new world out there, and America was symbolic of a new beginning. Finally, no great work of literature would be complete without a story of love. In Titanic, the script channeled our emotions of love stories of couples separated by class. From third-class immigrant, second-class middle America, to first-class elite of the Gilded Age. Despite differences, these distinctions quickly submerged in the face of a pending tragedy affecting all alike. 3 themes of hubris, hope, and love set the stage for Titanic, so to speak. Titanic presented some very special challenges. Let's visit with Tom Cordingley, Grandstreet Theatre's then managing director.
Titanic was Adam's idea because of course it's the 100th anniversary and we thought it would be fitting to put it on. In my mind, it was a huge undertaking. We had to sink a ship on a stage, which is huge cast, tough music, and I don't think it's ever been done in Montana, much less much of the Northwest. So this is a big deal, and I was pretty concerned about it until I saw it on opening night. You guys have done a wonderful job. You've done your homework, it's obvious, and the audience is telling me on the street that this is one of our best productions. One guy told me yesterday it's the best production we've ever done. Now, I've been in done 150 shows at the theater since I started, and this is way up there. If not on top, it's within the top 5.
Thank you, Tom. Your many years as managing director has cast a long and formidable shadow. Who cannot appreciate your calm demeanor and adroit managing presence? Indeed, a most interesting legacy.
Madam, where is your sense of occasion? I understand you just lost your husband. Yes, but not in cars.
This one is just, everybody is just, it's like a family. And I'm having so much fun.
Stay tuned, as the Astors, a most interesting evening, will return shortly.
To present the Astors for stagecraft, please welcome the inimitable star of Titanic, who played the role of Third Officer Pittman. All aboard, who are coming aboard, and also the role of the Major. Thousands and thousands of screaming savages. That remarkable individual, Gene Megan.
Thank you very much. I think the compliment. Remarkable is one of those words that I use when I'm not sure, because I say things like, that was remarkable. Doesn't mean good or bad. But to the business at hand here. The creative process begins with the place and time, and how to recreate the life and times through illusions. Sets have to be designed and constructed. This requires real nails, hammers, and screws. Costumes emerge from imaginations. The seamstresses measure and stretch real cloth. The rehearsals must be organized. They have to occur, and that's all under the direction of the stage manager. She must organize, repetition, alteration, adaptation, time after time. Megan, be here on time next time. All under critical eyes.
Brilliance of he and Cody working together for that rising platform to emulate the deck of the ship as it began to sink. He received a call from Maury Yeston, the actual composer of the show. My goodness, best of luck to you. I find it amazing that such a small theater is going to take on this huge show. It's an amazing thing, and we had a great show.
For Titanic, we have at least 1,000 hours. Ladies love the hats. We're not as crazy about the wigs, but they love the hats. They really bonded together as a cast. And I think part of that was that you also bonded with the characters.
It was really refreshing, actually, to really just trust people with their creative abilities. I mean, I said nothing to Natalie, basically, except for, I like it. As far as props, and Mary has done over 20 shows with us here. This is some of her best work, too. I mean, Emily as stage manager, I don't think people realize that she was doing the scenic design as well, and keeping track of 50 people. And so without someone like that, a show like this wouldn't be able to maintain its consistency.
The Astor for set design, costuming, and stage management go to Mary, Natalie, Cody, and Emily. The Astor first.
Are you an actor? Are you from Hollywood? I was told I was going to meet a celebrity tonight.
Well, that depends.
Oh, don't disappoint me. You must be an actor. I knew you were in that movie Shanghai.
Well, I've been on stage and I acted in Shanghai. As a matter of fact, I think we'll be seeing it a little later this evening.
It's a wonderful movie, directed by Roman Polanski, starring Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway, drama and intrigue. Oh, Jack Nicholson is my favorite actor. Do you know Jack?
I think you have your movies confused. You're thinking of Chinatown, not Shanghai. And no, I don't know Jack.
Oh, the last time I looked, Shanghai was in China. Has something changed? You must know Jack.
I'm sorry, I think you're confused. While Shanghai might be in China, the story happened in L.A., and no, I don't know Jack.
So, you were in Shanghai, which is in China, but you think you were in L.A.? You are perfectly right. You do not know Jack.
Well, come to think of it, I have a friend named Jack. To Mary, Natalie, Cody, and Emily, this Astor's for you.
My favorite part? Yeah, is when he says, Titanic is sinking, Mr. Ismay.
Probably... If you ask me, they don't know the bloody hell they're doing up there. Oh, excuse my French. It's like we say in the telegraphy business. You can't be a radio operator and remain a Christian.
You do that so well.
You may be wondering how we named this event the Astors A Most Interesting Evening. Those in the cast familiar with Colonel John Jacob Astor, the character that I played, know that he was a 49-year-old married to 19-year-old Madeline. Were he alive today, he would be telling you his story right here and now. He was the richest man on board Titanic and featured prominently in headlines announcing the catastrophe. While we may never know of his favorite beer, in 1912, he was the most interesting man in the world.
He is the icon of the Gilded Age. He is Harvard educated. He built the Astoria Hotel, fought beside Teddy Roosevelt. He is a sportsman, international adventurer, and bon vivant. He was declared the winner of the Daytona 500 before the track was built in honor of his racing superiority. He designed yachts that competed with Cunard and White Star for the Atlantic Blue Ribbon. He would have won, except he hauled in his sails to rescue stranded sailors who struck an iceberg. He is a competitor with compassion. In 1912, Colonel J.J. Astor was the most interesting man in the world. But what made him even more interesting were the women who accompanied him.
Yachting in Newport, auto racing in California, in front of the bourgeois.
You know how you should impress the bourgeois? You should play something.
Oh, I was afraid you wouldn't ask. Well, how about the latest?
Oh,
Ragtime.
please do. D.W. Griffin just cast me in his new movie. You should play ragtime for it.
JJ, that was simply superb. I would love to hear you play some more. Is piano the only instrument you can play?
A child prodigy, he is an accomplished pianist and can play every instrument in Alexander's ragtime band.
Jake is so talented. I remember we stayed at his charming cottage at Hyde Park on Hudson. Jake played a unblemished rendition of Daisy Bell. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. Without even looking at his music, it was as if his fingers never left his hands. I'm half crazy over the love of you. It will be a stylish marriage.
Oh, Maddie, how did you find Vandy's? I heard he's cheap now he lost all that money on the Cunard line.
We didn't have to find it at all, darling. Jake knows exactly where it is.
Oh, Maddie. Astor, you will come to the opening of my new film, won't you? D.W. Griffith is calling it Titanic. It's about an immigrant who falls in love with a wealthy socialite. Moi, on the biggest ship to ever cross the Atlantic. I'm in love with the part. I get to drink, smoke, cuss. But I'm not sure about the future of films about big ships on the lonely ocean.
When he speaks, the world listens. Even when he doesn't, his words become scripts for poets, presidents, and advertisements for beer.
Astor, we should take a trip. Europe, Africa, Italy. You, Maddie, and I, we can all stay in one cabin. It'll give the hoity-toity something to talk about. It's a new world out there.
Oh, Jake, let's do it. Mother will simply climb a tree, and Father will be all in a tizzy. I can just see us now, dancing the ragtime on the A deck. Oh, what a thrill, dancing out of doors in the chill. Keeps you hearty and heartier still. Choose a partner if you dare. I can wear the new diamonds.
His cologne smells like money. When he tips, waiters retire. He is the world's monument to unearned income.
I don't cross the Atlantic frequently, but when I do, I prefer White Star. Opulence and extravagance is their signature. One could drown in their luxury. No details left undone. Should I want ice at midnight in the middle of the Atlantic? A gin and tonic. Captain Smith and his inimitable crew will surely find it. Cruise safe, my friend. Bon voyage.
Give me a goddamn break. The most interesting man in the world? Who are you kidding here? Talk about chauvinism. White Star, Titanic, Ship of Dreams. Ship of fools, if you ask me. A new world out there? You were out there, that's for sure. So, this small town excuse for a theatre got rave reviews. So, You had a full orchestra. You filled the seats a few nights. You had a cast of dozens and an out-of-town choral director leading a 5-part harmony. So you sank a ship on stage, so by the end there wasn't a dry eye in the house. I should know. I was there. Front row, seat 1K, center stage. To the man who sat beside me, I'm sorry I soaked your hanky. I should have been in that show. Why didn't you ask me? Am I not pretty? Can I not sing? Can I not act? Am I not, at least, interesting?
Within the time warp of 1 century, destiny brings together 2 people, most and least interesting.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm fixing Mr.
Does he have a name? What, do you have a name?
Jack.
Jack. Jack.
Okay, Jack.
Are you all set? Looking good?
Yep.
Looking good?
Up next, the Astor for Director, as the Astors' A Most Interesting Evening continues.
To join script, performer, and production is the job of the director. To award the Astor tonight for director, he appeared in Spamalot. You will see him later tonight in Shanghai. An actor who has trod the boards frequently and looks darn good in a tux. Please welcome Chris Carell.
The director's challenge is a mighty one. The director must have an eye for the spectacle as well as the emotional pathos, to connect the cast with the audience. Compared to history, did you know Hollywood has been only a recent manifestation of this role? It's little known that Moses had a director on his staff. Let's go back in time. Picture this. Moses was faced with the Exodus. On one side was the Egyptian army in hot pursuit. On the other, the complication of an impassable Red Sea. What was Moses to do? He consulted with his executive staff. He turned to his admiral who said, "Build barges." But with no forest, this was unsinkable. The chief engineer touted a bridge. These will get the people across the sea, but this would require barges. At the end of the table, a young fellow waved his hand. Moses asked, "Who are you?" "I'm the Exodus PR director." Moses looked at him with an air of veiled disinterest. "I didn't know I had a director." "Okay, what's your solution?" "Well, let's take a historical perspective here. Never miss the opportunity in a crisis. How about if you get on your knees? The sun would be setting low in the west. Good backlighting. Act humble, distraught, forsaken. Lots of tears, emotions, and pleading. Cast your eyes upward. And chat with, And then thunder, lightning, Gabriel blowing his horn, and angels as the chorus. And the big guy opens up the Red Sea with a wide path of towering walls. Water, foam, thunder, and lightning with full chorus and orchestra. It will be unforgettable. This is beginning to sound interesting, Moses said. What's in it for me? The director replied, if you do this, I can get you 2 pages in the Old Testament and Charlton Heston to play you in the retelling. Yes, the director is critical. The word on the street is Titanic was indeed a most interesting production. And the director? Enigmatic, capricious, caustic? Yes, Adam Wagner was all of these. In his inimitable style, he took responsibility for joining a most challenging script, chorus, vocals, orchestra, cast, and stagecraft.
There were so many poignant and wonderful parts in Titanic that I remember very clearly. the cast on stage sang Floating City, and then the cast that snuck up behind just echoed Floating City, and it was kind of ghostly. It had a wonderful impact. Once again, goes back to Adam Wagner.
It was really interesting to see how quickly they picked up on it and how certain people really took ownership of the show. And I think that's one of our biggest success stories, where everyone started to take ownership of the show for themselves and as a group. The emails were flying, "Oh, I'm sorry everyone that I missed, a couple of cues," or "Oh, I'm gonna do this, we're gonna do this better," and get tired. And sometimes we can lose sight of why we do what we do, and still be good at it. But the why is not behind it, and that's what someone noticed. And so that sparked many conversations with all of us on the crew, realizing how unique, special, and fleeting these moments are, and how beautiful something like this can be, and how beautiful they can be. But I hope that 5 years down the road or 20 years down the road, people will remember accomplishing something as a group, and that this was a step forward. But if you ever do find me in a bar, I'd be happy to act out the entire opening sequence by myself.
May I have the Astor for the most interesting director? May I have the Astor for the most interesting director?
Hey, don't I know you from something?
Oh yeah, you may have seen me in...
Well, whatever. Look what I found backstage. Isn't he cute?
Laura, what are you doing? This is live?
Oh.
We've been looking for Astor. This is for Titanic's most interesting director?
Oh, he's gorgeous, and I found him, and I'm going to keep him. He's the perfect model for my next boyfriend, so statuesque and erect.
Laura, you can't have him. That's for Adam. He deserves the recognition. He spent hours and hours before and after rehearsal. He's the one who took on the responsibility of mounting this massive production. Indeed, the director's role is significantly underappreciated. Adam spent hours and hours working on this. And it also gave him an excellent excuse to hit on the waitresses at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Well, he's mine, and you can tell Adam he can kiss his Astor goodbye. He's mine.
Adam, well, there you have it. If you'd like your Astor, we'll put you in touch with Laura.
In just a few moments, the Astor for music and choral direction, as the Astors, a most interesting evening continues.
Orchestrated opening of Titanic. Sounds that penetrated our soul, creating tension and expectation. It's showtime. What an exceptional musical. 5 Tonys, including Best Musical. We had many super talented voices in Titanic, combined with exceptional lyrics, solo performances, the score and music, culminated in a most memorable evening. The music director had a Titanic challenge, so to speak, to prepare the cast to vocalize the many moods connected to the themes of hope and love and the eventual doom. Preparations were serious and demanded elocution. For over many weeks, lines needed to be rehearsed for exact timing and rhythm. And then harmony.
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow.
Finally, we added complex lyrics.
Many mumbling minds are making music to new life, mighty guys. Many mumbling minds are making midnight music to life, mighty.
To present the Astors for music and choral direction, please welcome local jazz legend, saxophonist, and star of the Wilbur Raymond Quintet, the incomparable Wilbur Raymond.
Music and sound are the critical difference in the stage and cinematic arts. Spoken words deliver the cognitive expression but it's music that invites emotion. And it's in motion that takes us to new worlds. Let's listen.
If tomorrow is not in store, let this wasting green place forever keep us together.
Scene was particularly memorable, but with a flourish that audiences didn't get to see. Watch this stand-up performance, only possible backstage.
My name is Tom Ripfresh. I am beautiful, I want to be a lady's maid in America. In America, the streets are filled with gold. I want to be a governess in America. In America, it's better. I am
maestros led the choral and orchestral production, Linda Pauley and Fred Cobb.
That's what it's about, is making it fun and bringing it to your audience so that they get an experience that shows how much you love what you're doing. And I think that this production did that. When you are willing to get out there and put it all on the line, on the stage, in front of an audience, a live audience, there's nothing like that in the world.
While Linda commuted from her home in Indiana and set the bar high, way high, it was up to longtime resident music director Fred Cobb to keep it there.
I find that working in the theater itself is a very rewarding experience. You work, weeks, and then you do a show for 12 shows and it's done, it's forgotten, you move on to the next one. And I think that the arts contribute a wonderful kind of vicarious way of living out a fantasy. It seemed like the ship went down in a big hurry is what it seemed like. The show was over before you know it.
The Astors for musical direction and choral production.
Did you write the music for the Titanic? Oh, I love that song, My Heart Will Go On. It still brings tears to my eyes.
No, I play the saxophone. And I tour around the state of Montana with my quintet. And by the way, that song you're referring to, it was in the movie, not the stage version of the Titanic.
There is a ripoff to the movie? You mean my favorite song isn't even in the show you're going to give this award to?
Well, I wouldn't call it a ripoff. Both were inspired by tragic historical events. And both were compelling dramas in their respective art forms. And not a ripoff.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I wouldn't want to be a part of an award that wasn't the real thing. You know, authenticity is very important in the arts.
I agree, authenticity is important.
I've always wanted to be on stage, in the movies, a star. This was going to be my big chance working with celebrities at the Astors, but do you think I've overdone it? Oh, I've always had the urge to put myself out there and hit the big time, but now I feel like this is all in my imagination.
If you're lucky enough to imagine the life you love, you must also have the courage to live it. And your presence right now here means you're courageous.
So this is okay, and nobody will laugh at me, and my heart really can go on?
And on and on and on. And to Linda and Fred, and all the musicians and performers who have the courage to live the life you love, this Astor is for you.
Coming up, we take a look at the director's challenge and casting as the Astors, a most interesting evening continues.
A director infuses cast and crew with a sense of excellence and a commitment to a common purpose. Working together, performers bring a script to life. But where do these people come from? Many of Titanic's cast got their stage feet wet by immersing in Grandstreet's summer workshops and also performing in dozens of shows. Wet feet certainly add to a desirable casting quality for Titanic. As you heard earlier, Titanic created a challenge as an inordinate number of roles were male. Adam had to cast a wide net to find willing men to meet Titanic's needs. As it turned out, the willing were insufficient. What's a director to do? Could he resort to an old-time nautical tradition? In the formative days of the U.S. Navy, ships were manned by searching the shadows and seedy taverns and bars in the late hours of the night in search of unsuspecting, drunken would-be sailors. This long-time nautical tradition is the Shanghai.
We're looking for a star. Given what we've seen at the other establishments, if we find something silver, it's going to need a lot of polishing. If we don't find an actor to play the major role, we don't have a show. Adam said we need to find a body, any body. So, as a last resort, we've come to the Silver Star. Maybe we can Shanghai some unsuspecting bloke and then let Adam deal with the flotsam and jetsam at rehearsal. It's past midnight, doesn't look good. There's nearly no one here, not even the bartenders. Everyone has gone home except for a young waitress cleaning up in the back room. Hey, but look, there's a fellow sitting down at the end of the bar. Come on. I say, sir, can you sing? Ever acted, been on stage?
I'm acting now. I'm acting sober. The barmaid here cut me off about an hour ago. Now, if I can act sober enough, I might get some, but there's no one here.
Oh, but I think you might be in luck. There's a barmaid in the back, a new girl.
A new girl? A new girl? Out where?
Have I piqued your interest? This is looking promising. Sir, what kind of work do you do?
I'm a vegetable stroker.
A vegetable?
Stoker.
And what is that?
let me tell you what a stoker does. With a pallet of shallots and boxes of squashes, with a stick and a poke, and a stack and a stroke, I get the vegetables to market, and that's all she wrote.
Is this something you enjoy?
It's a job. You really want to be a cop, a constable.
A cop? A constable? This is looking even more promising. But can he act? Let's probe a little deeper. If we can Shanghai him out of here to show up at a rehearsal, it'll all be in Adam's hands. Sir, I have a job for you. It requires hours of hard work, sleepless nights, regimentation, and low pay.
I'm already married.
So am I. But I think you have an undiscovered talent, and I think a little bit of discipline would help you in your life.
What are we talking about?
I need you to show up at 328 Fuller Avenue at 7:30 p.m. on Monday in your present condition.
What?
And I have an opportunity for you.
What is this? What are you talking about?
Well,
come in here, I'm having a beer. You said you'd find the barmaid. I've seen no one.
Well, I'll tell you, and I'll find her in just a moment. We are doing the play. Have you ever heard of the ship that sank, the Titanic?
You bet I've heard of the Titanic. Excuse me. My grandfather and my uncle, my great uncle, I guess it was, the major, worked for the White Star Lines. They built the Titanic. They worked on the thing, and they found out they were Catholics, and they threw them out without paying them a thing. If we get to sink the Titanic again, I'm your man. I'm in.
So you can do this?
Well, yeah, but I've got some other stuff to do first, though.
Well, what do you need to do?
Well, I had a bad day. You see, I drive the big vegetable truck, and I was at Lyndale in Montana Avenue today, driving the truck. It was full. It had a Titanic load in it. It was vegetables, tomatoes, rutabagas, potatoes, carrots, everything you can imagine. And I was hit from behind. So I jumped from my cab and I went to the back and threw out the door. And out came thousands and thousands of savage cabbages.
Oh, sir. Yes. Yes. I think we have our major.
It was February 2012 that I was sitting at this very bar, the Silver Star. My dear friend Tom Cordingley approached me. He said, "Mike, you need theater, and I've got a job for you." Indeed, it was the most interesting visit to the Fuller Street studio. Before the evening was out, I was signed, measured, and thoroughly embarrassing myself, assuming the personality of a complete stranger. Tom knew not only the value of the stage to communities, but the stage's value to performers. A special bond develops between cast members.
In just a few moments, we visit backstage as the Astors' A Most Interesting Evening continues.
Those days were a whirlwind. It's not only do performers need to learn about the strangers of their roles, but also about the strangers in their midst. Performers assume roles and personalities, they move into another world, all to get into character. Strangers become friends, and friends connect to a common purpose to arrive at a stage voice, an aesthetic that becomes singular, expressive, and memorable. But how did that voice develop? It was backstage.
And it's going to be amazing. I'm going to reveal to the whole cast that I am Jay Yates, the one and only. I'm sure it'll be quite a shock to no one's yet realized how important I really am.
No, Madeline Astor is a 19-year-old who marries a 56-year-old millionaire, and then she gets pregnant. So that's fun.
How are you enjoying your performance in Titanic?
I love it.
Yeah?
It's really fun.
You've done this before?
Yes.
So how many plays and productions have you been in?
Mom? 30. 30.
30. So how does Titanic rank with the other 29?
Definitely one of my favorites. I really like it.
The memories of just watching everybody grow and this performance has been amazing. It's definitely not the same show we had when we started. And yeah, it's just been really cool to watch everybody grow, get stronger, get more courageous, and just make those big choices. So.
Any other things that you would like to say? Any final comments about being involved with this cast?
I love everybody in this cast very much. It's the closest I've ever felt to this big of a group of people. So it's been a really cool experience, and I love them all, and I'm really going to miss the show.
Are you going to come?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Oh, is it video?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I got to do something. Obviously, you have an emotional connection with this cast and crew.
I've been in so many, I've done 30 shows here, 32 shows, and then the way this cast is connected and how they just help each other and pitch in, and everybody's just been it's been such a cohesive, it's like a family, and I'm having so much fun.
Hi!
Smile, you're in candid camera. This is a movie, so you have to do something.
Okay. Oh, dang it, I was trying to take my
Yeah, now we're gonna look like idiots. We're gonna be like,
They were just being upset with me for leaving them for a man. But, you know, a girl's gotta do what she's gotta do.
Oh, you're filming. Okay. So this is a movie, so we have to have
so we have to do something action.
Well, see, if you raise that a little bit, you want to shoot down at fat guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way it reduces the chin. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, we look.
Yeah, you gotta act like you're alive. You know, move. You know, bat an eyelash, something like that.
My buddy.
You know, would anything you'd like to say about this production?
It's wonderful, and I love it. I don't know.
All morning, we had to wake up really early, and the entire time we sang along to the soundtrack, and Olivia and I freaked out during Mr. Andrews' vision, and we were all like this, and then like this, and so that was fun.
My favorite moment is getting in character and just bonding with this great and awesome cast and getting to know such wonderful people.
Because I want to be an engineer, an engineer. It's very funny because I'm trying my best not to go like this and like this and like this and like this, and I don't know how else to do it. So I go like this and like this, and I have written in my book, do not pump fist. And every time there's something going on like this. I feel like Rocky up there.
well, because everyone's so cool. This is like my first Grandstreet play, so it's like a big thing.
A memory from this production?
It's been a fun one for sure. I met a lot of new people, made a lot of new friends like you, and it's been a wonderful time for sure. It's been an experience and a half. I'm really glad.
And who do you play in Titanic?
I play Caroline Neville.
Yeah, do you like the part?
Yeah, I do. I really enjoy it. It's been a big stretch for me. Probably the most challenging character I've ever played, so it's been a good experience and really fun.
So what will you take away from our performance now that we're on the last night of the show?
Right. I don't know, just being together as a cast has been a really good experience for me, and just taking away that a little hard work goes a long way, and even if we are drowning in the middle of the Atlantic, that we can, pull together as a cast and make it work.
Anything else you'd like to say to cast members for being part of this production?
Sail on, RMS Titanic!
As you can see, there was a lot of excitement, just plain fun going on backstage. As far as acting, voice, and impact, it would be unfair to single out any one performer from the rest. Everyone was equally stellar. To my fellow cast members, you were marvelous. Each of you deserves an Astor. Thank you all for being here tonight. I hope you've enjoyed our tour of the making of Titanic, and also to appreciate the contribution that live theater makes to communities everywhere, and particularly Grandstreet or Helena. To all the performers, and to our stars who have participated in the Astors The Most Interesting Evening, you all are courageous. You all deserve an Astor. Good night, and support your local theater.
Standing at the rail, let one great thought prevail,
First words, the creative process begins. The creative process begins creating The creative